Okay, guys, and welcome back to a little bit of this and that. So, this is the next part to making our Beneath and Beyond a Steel Sky thumbnail. I hope you enjoy.
Um,
Was it the dad that told the mum to run away or something?
no, basically he was born and they were in the middle of him and his partner were in the middle of not his like loving partner, but like his scientific partner, the one he worked with,
Hmm.
colleague is probably the best word actually, rather than partner. He they were both in the middle of just getting Link up and running, and obviously his wife had Foster.
Hmm.
Um, but what we then later find out is that actually she was what they call a Gaplander. So she was originally from the Gap, fell in love with Foster's dad, and moved to Union City.
Hmm.
So with Foster's dad always at work, she was never accepted anywhere because people still looked at her like she was an outsider. She wasn't a part of their society. She was just somebody who, in a sense, got given right because of who she married. Um, and then she tried to get her husband to take a interest in their son, which obviously he did love him, but he was more interested in his baby was Link. He was more interested in seeing this artificial intelligence grow. So she decided she was going to go back to the Gap, but by this point, what she didn't realize was that Link was already starting to take over.
Hmm.
So she got on a helicopter to go to the Gap to save her child from being, I suppose, getting the same sort of prejudice that she did because she was an outsider.
Hmm.
Um, and we find out later, right at the end, the reason why the helicopter crashed was because so Link had control of all the transport. So basically, you couldn't fly it. You couldn't fly a helicopter out without Link letting you. Okay, he would basically keep them grounded. You wouldn't be able to get off the ground. Foster's dad found out what she was doing and was able to sort of distract Link while she flew away in this helicopter.
Hmm.
But then Link found out that she'd gone and crashed the helicopter.
Ah.
At the time, Link was still quite young. He didn't really understand human sort of, I suppose, sort of ageism, not ageism, like age, like we get old basically, and I don't think Link realised that. Um, so when obviously because at this point Foster's dad is integrated within Link, so he is sort of like Link's body,
Hmm.
yeah. Um, as his dad got older, Link realised that this he needed Link's dad, but he needed Foster's dad, but he would never. Obviously, he was dying. He was getting old, and he knew that at some point he would not be there anymore.
Hmm.
He started to realise this, so he was trying to build using the DNA from Foster's dad. He was trying to build like a replica human to take over from Foster's dad, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't work out the genetics of a human and things like that. Came close, but it wasn't what he needed. And then he found out that Foster survived, so that's why the guards went after him, because he sent he needed Foster. He needed Foster to sit in the same chair as his dad, basically.
Hmm.
Um, and we also find out that the whole time that when Foster went to the Gap, I think he was about a year or 2 years old, or something like that.
Hmm.
And when all this starts, he's about 30 odd. So you know that's 20 odd years that he's not been in Union City, and over that 20 years, Link's been sterilizing humans so that they can't have children anymore.
Hmm.
Um, and he's been like replacing people with androids because he knows that they live longer. Yeah.
Hmm.
So where was I going with this? Yeah. So he realized he needs Foster, so he sends someone to get Foster, which is where it all starts. That's like right, and then they like destroy the tribe, which I don't know if that's never sort of said whether or not Link gave that order, or whether it was the guy in charge who, because he just didn't like Gaplanders, he just decided to blow them all up.
Hmm.
Because right at the beginning of the game, Link actually saves you from being shot because he needs you, sort of thing. So you think you found a friend when actually you haven't found a friend. He's just looking after like his own sort of own needs,
Hmm.
sort of thing. So yeah, so like, obviously which is why Joey's able to, when Joey sits in the chair, he's able to, in a sense, put Link in a cage because he's not human. He doesn't have human DNA. He is a robot himself, and he's actually, Foster's managed to build him in such a way that he's actually more, and he's been brought up in a way. Joey has been brought up by, so Joey is an AI. He learns things, and Foster teaches him,
Hmm.
and he's learned things from the Gap. And obviously Link learnt things from Foster's father, who was a very selfish man. So the two AIs, in a sense, were brought up within the same family, but had two very different upbringings. And the good upbringing, what I suppose what you would call a good upbringing, won over the bad upbringing. So it is like, it goes back to the basics of good versus evil sort of thing.
Hmm.
But it's why he's able to like sort of shut Link down and then bring Union City back to looking after the people rather than using the people as slaves to just get what they want, what he wants.
Hmm.
So I love it's so I do love the storyline because it's very intricate. It's very, there's so many layers to it, which is really, um there is so many layers to the storyline, and there's so many options that you can do as well, because I think there is multiple endings
Hmm.
because of the, obviously, the options you get at the end. You can sit in the chair, Joey can sit in the chair, or you can do something else. So I've
Why,
got a funny feeling there's multiple endings, like a good ending, a bad ending, and like a mediocre ending, I would imagine.
why can't nobody sit in the chair and just let Link die?
I think that might be the third option, which I think might be the mediocre ending, because that's not necessarily the best thing for the city, is it?
Oh.
Because they've all been guided by Link, so technically they're all sort of evil. They need someone good to sort of come in and guide them in a good way. Um, so yeah, so I think it's it's just the intricacies of the story. I really like it.
Hmm.
And I fully expect Beyond the Steel Sky to be exactly the same. I mean, we've already met 4 characters, and they all have their own backstory. They're all very they all have layers. Like you find out, um, you find out about them. You think, for example, Ember, um, who we meet in episode 2 of Beyond the Steel Sky. She comes across as very brass, very sort of like, mess with me and I'll cut you up sort of thing. But
Mess with me and
actually,
I'll cut you.
yeah, but she's not like that. She's actually, that's her, like a facade so that people don't mess about with her. She's actually a really caring person, and all she's trying to do is survive and help bring up her little brothers who come to work with her. So she's set up her own business. She does trading and stuff like that, and her brothers come to work with her, and she cares about them, and that's the reason why she's so like in your face all the time, and oh my god, I can't believe you did that. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, she looks about 15, bless her. She's got a lot of responsibility on her shoulders. And you sort of learn that about her, which I think is really, really good. I loved. I think this game to the last game, even though it's the sequel, you can see how many differences there are in it. I mean, one, the graphics, it's not pixelated anymore. It is completely different. But still, in a way, keeping true to the pixelated sort of theme. I don't really understand. It's sort of like that. Do you know those games that have, like, when you're talking to someone, you've got the person and they're really, really clear, and then in the background it's all blurry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have that sort of set up with the graphics, and I really like that. So as you're sort of like walking, like really, really far away is really, really blurry, like it would do if you were actually walking in that place. And then as you get closer to it, it obviously clears up, but the background gets really, really blurry. And it's not. I like, I like that it's not bringing it all into the 3D. It's still keeping it as a slightly 2D game, which keeps it true to the game franchise now, I suppose, because then there's two games for it. And I hope, I really do hope that they leave this one open for a third. I would love this to be a trilogy. I don't know if there would be if there's anyone else out there who feels the same way. There's probably people out there who have played through the game and was like, and is probably sitting here thinking right now, oh, please, you're going to be so disappointed. But when I get to the end of this Beyond a Still Sky, no spoilers, please. I do hope that it does leave it open for a third game. I would love a trilogy to, and I think they should stop at a third game, because there are games out there. So, for example, let's talk about Mass Effect. Mass Effect is one of those games that I don't know if everyone agrees with me. The first one, amazing, absolutely brilliant. The second one, I'm sure, was thrown together just because people wanted it, and the fact that it was thrown together, it's a good storyline, it's good missions and stuff like that, but it's not. You just feel that there's not as much love that went into it as the first one, and then you've got the third one, which was put together, I think, again with love, and that's just as good as the first one. And with Beyond and Beneath a Still Sky, Beneath a Still Sky, you can really feel the love that went into it, and Beyond a Still Sky, I can really feel the love that went into that. So I think to make to make it a trilogy and to make 3 games that you can tell that the development team have really really thought about. It would be well, Revolution Software already make iconic games, and I think that would just be another iconic game. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
You say I rambled on for about too long.
Yeah, we're
Heard you
back, guys.
laughing.
You might have seen a cut there. Hello?
I just heard you laughing from the front room, talking to yourself. I was like, God damn it.
No, I was saying how I've never been disappointed in a Revolution game from Revolution Software. I would love to hear people's comments on that. I would really, really like to know if anybody's actually played a game from Revolution Software and thought, no, I don't like it. I don't like the way that they've done this. Because I've never felt that way about any of the games. And I would love to be told I'm wrong. So
You always want to be told you're wrong.
I enjoy a good debate. All my opinions that I put across, I base on my facts and the things that I sort of see and I research and things like that. But I'm not the greatest at those things. And I'm not God or anything like that. So my opinions are just my own. If there is somebody out there that doesn't have the same opinion to me, I enjoy hearing their opinion, because I enjoy hearing the other side to that. And I enjoy talking to that person. I don't want arguments or anything like that. I enjoy talking to that person about their opinion, about why they feel that way. I'm interested. So, yeah, I do want people to turn around and say, well, actually, I didn't like, I don't know, let's say, for example, the 5th game in Broken Sword series. Okay, well, why didn't you like that? Let's have a discussion about this. And I'm saying that because we are going to be doing all the games on the channel for Broken Sword. But I thought I played all of them and I haven't. So I'm quite excited to get to the last one in the series, because I think it's Broken Sword 6. And I don't think I've played that one, but I have played the rest of them. My voice is starting to hurt because I have rambled on for quite some time. So Trinity, did you want to leave them here, and we'll do you guys will see like a sped up version of what Trin's done, and then we'll come back?
If you want to.
Well, unless you want to talk about anything.
Only thing I could talk about is to do with a franchise is probably FNAF, but I don't know if we're allowed to talk about that.
I would imagine we're allowed to talk about it. Scott, what's his name? Scott, person who developed it, Scott.
Scott Cawthon?
Who?
Scott Cawthon.
Cawthon?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that was his last name. Anyway, yes. I mean, we can talk about that series if you want. Was it him? Did he do Undertale as well? Was that another dude?
No, completely different person. Wait.
Ah.
Definitely Scott that made Five Nights at Freddy's, right? Yeah, because Toby Fox made Undertale.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
See, I know my stuff. I've lost the building now we're looking at. Yeah, you were talking about franchises and how that if you do it too long, then it does stuff to the game. So I wanted to know what you felt about Five Nights at Freddy's, because he's coming out with his next game soon. But what is it? I can't remember what it's called.
I thought he was. Oh, he's not doing another Five Nights at Freddy's. He's doing a completely new game.
No, not a new game. It's to do with the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. But it's a new game, but it's not. It's to do with the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise anyway. Like Sister Location was, and the other ones.
Oh, I might have to give him a tweet, see if we can get in on that action.
What, the new game?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but you'll be playing it alone, and you would be off your chair. I mean, the new game, if you listen closely, has Bella's song in the background, so I'm going to say it's got something connected to Sister Location.
Well, I've watched enough Five Nights at Freddy's to think that I think I would know what I'm doing, and I do think it would probably scare me half to death, but I would be interested in playing it.
Yeah,
the new game.
The new game's called Security Breach.
Maybe not. So, but actually, you bringing up Scott and his Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, I think he is another developer that each game that he's brought out of Five Nights at Freddy's, you can tell the love that's gone into it. Now, if anybody knows Scott, or if Scott happens to end up listening to this, I apologise for what I'm just about to say. The one before Sister Location, was it number 3?
Is that the one in the house with the boy?
Wasn't that a fan-made game?
No, that was an actual game.
Oh.
It was about William Afton's son, I believe, who got bitten by Golden Freddy. It was about the bite of 1987 or something like that.
No, there was one where it's the same sort of thing where you're a security guard. It must have been number 2 then.
Was it a VR one, security guard, and then this golden bunny chasing after you?
No, it was a normal on the computer game. Dan TDM played it.
Did it have Did it have the toys? Did they have cheeks, the glow cheeks?
No, it had the vents came into it, and it didn't have the. I don't think it had Golden Freddy in it. actually, come to think of it.
A game with vent.
Anyway, there was one game that I watched a YouTuber play. It was either Think Noodles or Done to the End, one of the two, that I just sort of felt that Scott was sort of forced into creating it. And then, again, I didn't feel that there was love put into it, but I think he sort of felt forced to make it. So you can tell the difference if you know what I mean.
What Scott does with his games, he intertwines them with each other, so that they each have their own story, but each game, they have their own story, but that story also gives you more clues to the other stories, if you get what I mean. They're intertwined and twisted.
Yeah, but
Like
I don't know. Like I like Sister Location, so I do like that fact that Scott does put every single story sort of it's like they're all unique, but they are all intertwined with each other at the same time. I do like that, and I think that's an excellent selling point for him. I loved when Sister Location. I've never, by the way, guys, I've never played any of these games because I've always been really scared to. But I do watch them when they come out, and YouTubers do the games on their channels. I will watch them because I enjoy watching them, and I enjoy seeing the game and the storyline and things like that. So when Sister Location came out, I was really impressed by that because you had new was Sister Location. It was Sister Location, wasn't it? Where you had to crawl through the ballerinas one to get to the electrical cupboard or the cupboard to do something.
Ballora. Her name wasn't Ballerina, her name's Ballora.
Yeah, I don't remember. I remember Golden Freddy and I remember Bonnie. She's the rabbit.
Yes.
He's a rabbit. I don't remember the duck's name.
Chica. And she's not a duck, she's a chicken.
Oh, okay, Chica. But I do like the games. So Valora, yeah, you have to call through Valora's thing, and like you have to sort of stop still every time you hear her, and
Actually,
then when
you
you
don't
don't
have
hear
to.
anymore, you do when you play it on hard mode, like Dan does.
No, I can't remember who did it. She does catch you, but you don't have to listen to the guy who tells you what to do. You actually have to listen to Ballora. If she's far enough away, you can just keep going, no matter what the guy who's no matter what NR tells you to do. But if she's close, that's when you have to stop. You don't actually have to listen to anyone. You just keep doing it. But if you listen to NR or not, that's your choice. That just changes I think it changes what you get at the end.
See, when I watched the videos, it seemed because obviously I'm sure Dan played it on hard mode, and he had to listen to the person of what did you call him, VL?
Ennard
to
He takes on the voice of Baby.
Oh well, he had to listen to him. Otherwise, every time he didn't, she would catch him.
Well, there is a trick where you don't have to listen to Ennard at all.
Anyway, so I like that. I like the fact that I felt that he had really thought about the game. I felt that he had kept true to the storyline and his game that he had created, but making the new aspects in the game, new puzzles, new challenges, new characters when he brings them in. You can really tell that he's really thought about it, and I do like. I think Scott as a developer is amazing for that. As I said, for me personally, there was one game that I did think, no, I don't feel as much love has gone into it. But that's not to say that, as I said before, that's only my opinion. That's not to say that's the God's word or whatever.
There was, do you know the first 3 games?
Yeah.
There is a thing where he would have had to think about those games before he had brought out the first ever game. Because if you look at the paychecks, Five Nights at Freddy's 3 and 2 took place before Five Nights at Freddy's 1, so it basically goes backwards for each game. And you would have had to think about that to get the paychecks and dates in order. Five Nights at Freddy's one was the most, according to the timeline, is the most earliest one. That was a free.
No, I mean, no, I don't agree with that. He could create a concept for the first game, and then using that concept, then going backwards. He was the one who made up the dates. He was the one who knew the programming. So he didn't have to think about all 3 games at once. He just think about every game each time. And he probably at one point, I mean, I don't know. I mean, actually, this would be a good question that a question that I probably would put to Scott if I ever met him or was able to send him a question or anything like this. That was there at any point that he didn't want to do what you've just said? Instead of making it going backwards, was there at any point where he wanted to make one a prequel and one a sequel?
Probably.
You know, what made him made that decision that it went backwards instead? Which I actually think was a good decision to make, mainly because you don't get that on most games, and actually that's probably quite unique to his franchise. I don't know very many games that have been developed in that way.
I mean, the story itself is unique. You've got to be honest with that. The whole story itself is unique. Every single thought out, planned and processed. I mean, even the Five Nights at Freddy's, the first game, even the times when the animals would come after you, it was in alphabetical order. So he had to have thought of that.
Oh, see, now I didn't know that it was an alphabet. I've always known, like, I've always thought that he was quite a clever guy. Because you do get the game developers, and they are clever. I mean, I know I could never develop a game. So, to me, people who develop games are already more clever than I am. I don't even know if that was the correct English, which probably makes me look really stupid. But you get what I mean. I wanted to say cleverer, but I don't even think clever is a word. So I thought more clever was better. Anyway, but yeah, he has a really, really good imagination. He has, he through his games, you can see how clever he is with the just with the intricacies of the game. The fact that you don't get very many games that you have to play, that you have to listen. There are probably lots of development teams out there that have tried to do a sort of similar version to Five Nights at Freddy's, but haven't input what he's put into it. So the fact that you have to, you do have to do all these things, but you're not just looking, you're not just seeing what's on the screen, you're listening for certain sounds. It brings that game into sort of a 4D. Instead of 3D, it's 4D because you're using all your senses. And that to me is unique. I don't know of any other game that sort of does that. I mean, other than like obviously the new VR games and stuff, because that's what VR is meant to be. It's meant to pick up on all your senses, and probably in the future we'll be looking at smelling as well. But he did this before VR came out. Before VR was a huge thing. I know VR's been around for a long time before somebody said, no, it was out way before he did a game. But he did this on a computer using headphones. This wasn't meant to be for VR. This wasn't meant to be a virtual reality thing. It was just a game, and it brought games from 3D to 4D. And in a sense, he was a pioneer in his sort of I can't think. He was a pioneer for other development teams, if you get what I mean.